We are about to go over to Harstine Island. I'm filming the approach to the bridge. It's smaller than I expected, actually. So Harstine Island is one of the properties we are considering at length. There's a view of the water, and the island, and the mainland separation.
Look at how many trees.
You can see that Harstine is a heavily wooded island. There is a lot to be said for the beauty of this particular space. And one of the things we like about Harstine is that it is so sparsely populated and wooded. So it gives a very isolated location that will, that we can use for what we're looking to do with our homestead, so that we're not, because we don't want to be in an urban area. We don't want to have to look at our neighbors, and just when we walk out the door, we don't mind neighbors. We love talking to people and getting to know them and such.
We just also love nature.
Yeah. And I love getting to, or having neighbors that I can know and relate to when I want to, but I don't need a neighbor that or enjoy having neighbors that just come over and knock on the door unannounced and all of that. I grew up with that. You'd think, based on my upbringing, that was the kind of life that I would be most comfortable with, but I'm an introvert with extroversion tendencies.
Yeah,
you can see that some of the different trees. You can see this is the South Island Road. And a lot of properties a lot of the properties we've looked at online have been on or around this road. So you can see this is definitely undeveloped by and large. There are houses here and there, but there are a lot of there's a lot of empty space. And I have a theory, and there's a lot of evidence to support it, that by this time next year, this property is going to be losing value, because I think because of the pandemic and because of the way that just the way that the economy is going to take a hit, the right property is going to fall into our laps, and the rural property, I think in particular, is going to become much less desirable.
Well, this is kind of a ways away from other larger cities, so regular jobs and stuff are going to be harder to get to, take more time to get to, so longer commute. Yeah. Not everybody likes that, so.
Right, and this is, Harstine is a one-bridge island.
Yeah,
and
one bridge is the only access. There's no ferry, there's nothing else.
And it feeds into Shelton, Washington, which is northwest of Olympia. So one of the bases for our desires is, because I'm disabled and living in this, my disability is our primary income, and Kelly's business is our secondary income. We're looking to go where a lot of people can't. Even if you're working from home, for the most part, a lot of businesses want you at least nearby so you can, be available if you need to meet face to face for some reason. And even if your business doesn't even go that way, a lot of people don't trust living out in a place like this where there is only one bridge and services here. There's no fire station, no hospital or ambulance here. You gotta go to Shelton for that. On the island itself, there's no services to that extent. The county sheriff is the only police that you will ever see out here. Well, I guess because the addresses are Shelton, you might get the Shelton police force out here in a big emergency, but for the most part, it'll be the county sheriff.
Okay.
There is a small incorporated portion of Harstine in the very north end that they do their own thing as far as they have their own utilities. They own the rights to the sewer system up there, or maybe it's trash collection. Anyway, I read about them, but they're far from where we want to go.
Sorry, audio is breaking for a moment because the kids were fighting. I also want to note that we did actually find out that there was a small fire department or fire station, at least on the island. However, it's up at the northern part of it, and it looks like it might be connected to a small community.
We are looking at the South Island, and while we may drive by there today, this is what we're looking for in this area right here. Even with the stuffed Santa dog, we're still good here. So you'll see there's a lot to this place.
Wow, that's a lot of shells. Did you see
This
that?
is, in fact, the end of the road, because
This is just one. I was trying to get out of somebody's way, but
this was a small county road that just took us to some properties, one of which could potentially be a property we look into. There is
I
a
don't think I've
clear
ever seen
shellfish.
So many shells piled up. Spot.
This looks like an oyster farm, I'm guessing.
Salish Seafoods or Salish.
This
whatever.
is, they've obviously harvested a vast number of oysters here. Those are oyster shells.
Wow.
Clearly, there is a lot of calcium in those piles.
Yeah. Which is great for gardens.
So, true. But this is where we're looking. And we want to get away from things. It's going to be perfect for us. We've lived the rural life before. We lived out on a place when we were in Idaho called County Line Road that had services, but they were from the city of Emmett, which was quite a ways away and was small.
It's like 45 minutes or more.
Yeah, it was about 45 minutes from our house to downtown Emmett. We generally, if we had made a call, it would have been to the sheriff's, routed to the sheriff, I should say. And the closest hospital was in Emmett, and this will be the same as with Shelton. And yeah, Emmett's hospital, well, that could be a whole video unto itself, so we'll just leave it at that. But that's why we want to go to Harstine. We're trying to go where people don't want to live. Partially because the rural development program that the Department of Agriculture offers is actually specific to this sort of environment. They want people who are going to buy up land and locations and develop it, improve the value, and restore it. Bring it back to
Look at how beautiful that is.
a usable or at least developed landscape.